BMW X7 2019 present. There is a distinction between making an entrance and making an impression, but no one seems to have passed the message on to BMW. When the firm launched the luxurious BMW X7 7-seat SUV in 2019, it was obviously eager for it to stand out from the crowd. And so it gave the already gargantuan car a grille so large you can actually see it from the moon. There is more to the car than just the way it looks, and the X7 lives up to its grand exterior with excellent driving manners and a comfortable and opulent interior. In bold terms, though, it's huge, being nearly 5.2 meters long and 6 feet tall, and it weighs in at just under 2.5 tons. The car was originally introduced with 3 choices of engine, 2 of which were diesel-fueled, but neither of which lasted long before they were replaced. So instead of a range comprising 30D, 40i and M50D derivatives, as it was originally laid out, later models come as an X7, X-Drive 40i and a 40D, both of which developed 335 bhp. At the very top of the X7 range, meanwhile, where once there was the aforementioned and remarkable quad-turbo diesel M50D, there is in later models an X-Drive M50i, which becomes one of the most powerful 7-seat passenger cars money can buy, even though it burns petrol and not diesel like its immediate predecessor. There's also an M performance version with its 523 bhp twin-turbocharged V8 and piffling 4.7 seconds, 0-62 miles per hour acceleration claim. As for trims, there's a simple choice of 2 different levels. Every X7 is positively loaded with kit, air suspension, 4-zone climate control, and heated front and rear seats are all standard. As ever though, there's an M Sport model that adds sporty cosmetic touches and upgraded brakes, with an M50D and the M50i standing alone as trim levels in their own right, adding a limited slip differential on the rear axle to increase cornering traction. On the road, the 261 bhp X-Drive 30D has plenty of performance. Push the accelerator and this huge SUV disguises its bulk well, getting you up to motorway speeds in the kind of effortless manner you'd expect from something half this size. It's a civilized engine too. If you opt for the 6-cylinder petrol X-Drive 40i, you'll find it serenely quiet when you want it to be, and nice and snarly when you're pressing on. What's more, it's impressively responsive, even the very bottom of the rev range. The most potent engines in the range, though, are found under the bonnets of the M50D and M50i. And the M50D is a diesel engine that can propel you up the road with near-explosive force and doesn't sound too uncouth in the process, although it's noisier than the X-Drive 30D. When it comes to ride comfort, the standard air suspension does a fine job of soaking up whatever the road can throw at it, and it even gives the Audi Q7 a run for its money on the motorway. Unlike the smaller X5, the X7 really feels its size on winding roads, particularly narrow ones. Turn the steering wheel and the nose takes a moment to react, leaving you wondering if you're going to plow straight on. Fortunately, the X7 does change course, although there's lots of body lean when it does so. Generally, the X7 is pleasant and relaxing to drive, whether munching through motorway miles or negotiating urban traffic. Here, the optional 4-wheeled steering greatly aids maneuverability at low speeds by turning the rear wheels very slightly in the opposite direction to the fronts for a reduced turning circle. Head off-road and the X7 will tackle rougher terrain, then most buyers will reasonably ask for it, especially if you opt for the optional off-road package. This provides drive settings to suit different terrains, as well as adding underbody protection. Where its interior falls down on showiness, the X7 makes up for on quality. Every surface you look at or touch simply screams quality and craftsmanship, and this lends its interior a truly upmarket ambience. Infotainment is something of an X7 specialty, thanks to BMW's latest 12.3-inch iDrive system. It can be operated through an extremely responsive touchscreen, the intuitive rotary dial controller, or even by using BMW's voice control system. On top of those, there is gesture control to adjust the volume, skip music tracks, or change radio stations, although you do feel a bit silly wafting your hand around to activate it. With so many easy interfaces, all the key infotainment functions can be used safely while driving. Of course, the X7 has masses of interior space. It's tall and airy up front, and so wide that the driver could almost feel like they're in a different postcode to their front passenger. There's also plenty of room for those on the second row seats to stretch out, and with no shortage of head, leg or shoulder room. Even 3 adults sitting side by side will be relatively comfortable. There's even dual-zone climate control for the second row and heated seats for the outer passengers. The seats can be moved forward and backwards electrically in a 60 by 40 configuration and can be folded in a 40 by 20 by 40 split. The X7 also matches the Q7 and Mercedes GLC by offering a third seating row as standard, and it's seriously roomy too, far more so than the Audi Q7s or even that of the Land Rover Discovery. Even a couple of 6-footers will fit comfortably enough. As for the boot, the X7 retains the smaller X5's split folding tailgate layout, whose lower section flips out to serve as a handy perch when taking off muddy wheelies or similar. There's space for a couple of suitcases, even with the third row seats are in use. In 5-seat mode, there's a huge boot. The X7 reliability record is so far very strong, although the car hasn't been on the market for a long time. The X7 is too new to have taken part in our most recent reliability survey, but BMW as a brand finished in 9th place out of 31 manufacturers. If you're seeking out one of the first 2019 cars into the UK, you could do no better than the 30D version. It's a good blend of punch and efficiency. For later models, we'd opt for a 40D version. Our advice is to stick with the entry-level trim, simply named X7, but now consider seeking out a used car where some of the optional extras have been added for a little extra extravagance. You could find heated and cooled cup holders, massaging seats, and TV screens for the second row, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. Our favorite BMW X7, X7 30D. Well, if you are the owner of this car, then please describe the problem that you had to face during the operation of the car. Perhaps it is your feedback that will help viewers when choosing a car. That's it for today. Thanks everyone for attention. It isn't much work for you to subscribe to the channel. See you soon.